have here is $160,000 worth of muscle. Over here, twin turbocharged AMG German muscle, and of course over here, American supercharged muscle. And coming up right now in the fast lane car, we're gonna see which one brings the most brawn, and of course, which one packs the most punch. You gotta hit the magic exhaust button. Oh yeah. Oh man, that is one pissed off kitty cat. There are two numbers that really define these cars. 1,210, that's the combined horsepower. The Hellcat, of course, is 707. The Mercedes is 503. 8,595, that's the combined weight. And the Hellcat is about 300 pounds heavier, which is really surprising because the Hellcat is a hell of a lot bigger. So here's an interesting fact. The Mercedes is governed to a top speed of 180 miles an hour. This Hellcat is not governed, which means it'll go just under 200 miles an hour, or about 198. But let me show you the thing I love the most about this car. And listen, because this is what separates this from mere mortal vehicles. Because of course this is the most powerful American car you can buy. Did you hear that supercharger? Oh, that whine of that supercharger and the roar coming out the back. It just is phenomenal. And yes, it's big, it's heavy, it's unrefined in a lot of ways when you compare it to the Mercedes. But all that goes out the window when you put your foot in it and you're into triple digit speeds. Well, you know what I'm talking about, like that. These two muscle cars have a very similar yet very different way of producing power. Of course, they're both forced induced. Now the Hellcat has a ruddy big supercharger about the size of my forearm that sits on top of the engine block. That's of course powered by the engine. Now at full throttle, this supercharger will empty out a typical office room of air in less than a minute. Now you guys know this AMG motor is handcrafted, in this case by Rene. And what AMG has done is they've taken this 4-liter and they've nested two turbos right in the heart of the V so that the tubing, the distance that the air has to travel from the turbos to the actual engine block is extremely short, giving you more punch and less turbo lag. Let's get this out of the way right away. This car's base price is about $75,000, but the MSRP is $91,000 or $21,000 more than the Hellcat, and that's because there's a lot of expensive accessories. The carbon fiber in here, just under $2,000. The little bits of carbon fiber on the outside of the car, just about $3,000. And you know what? Carbon fiber may be cool, but you know, for $5,000, I can get a hell of a good motorcycle. All right, let's take this bad boy for a ride. Oh, gotta hit the exhaust button. There are actually 3 different valves in the exhaust system that change the baritone nature of this exhaust to make it deeper, to make it richer. But you know what? Let's just listen to it. Oh my God! Those shifts! My face! Oh, I am going way too fast for this road. Oh, this car can put down that 500 plus horsepower, which unfortunately the Hellcat can't. But let's get real. Both of these cars, without modern stability control and traction control, would put you into a tree within a second of turning both of those things off if you punched it going around a turn. This, of course, is a new C-Class coupe, and what Mercedes has done for this generation, it has taken everything from the A-pillar backward and made it completely unique to the C-Class. And you know what? I like it. It's sexy, it's curvaceous, it's got that classic Coke bottle shape. The Hellcat, on the other hand, well, it's just pissed off and angry. Think of them this way. This is the beautiful babe on the beach, and this is the muscle-bound guy who wants to kick sand in your face. know all you Europeans are saying, hey, it's just a big engine slammed into a chassis of an old E-Class. And you know what? You may be right about that in part, but think about it this way. Sure, you can get 1,000 horsepower out of a tuned STI Subaru, but can you warranty that? Because I promise you, that engine will self-destruct, if not itself, the drivetrain on the next run down the quarter mile. Because that's the magic of this car. Not only that it has the most powerful engine in an American car, 707 horsepower, but that engine is warrantyable, that you can take it to your local Dodge dealership and that they can actually fix it and work on it. Because that is the secret sauce in the Hellcat. Because can you imagine how much heat that engine is putting out, the tolerances in that engine? And when you talk about it not being as refined as, let's say, the Mercedes, you're forgetting all that. It still puts out 707 horsepower, and it does it in a way that you can get up in the morning, start the car up, and drive it to work, and then take it to the drag strip on the weekend, and then take it back to work the next day, and then take it to your dealership and have it worked on. And that is the secret sauce. Check this out, there's a hole in this interior headlight, and of course that feeds all that air into the supercharger, and that is by far my favorite feature of this car because it's just so badass and so cool. Now the Mercedes, it's a little bit more subtle. What I like about this car is a 7-speed transmission. The Hellcat, the manual, is almost undrivable, and the 8-speed is barely drivable. The 7-speed in the Mercedes, though, just rips shifts like it's almost a Formula One car. But from a dynamic standpoint, oh yeah, this car is much more sorted. It feels tight, it feels lively, it feels alive, it feels like it wants to just tear down this road, like it wants to gallop, like it's straining at the leash to get going. Oh, what a wonderful feeling. And every time I floor it, it just hunkers down. That independent rear suspension just hunkers down and pushes all that torque forward. Also, this steering wheel, perhaps one of the best steering wheels in the entire automotive world. Alcantara on the side, leather on the top, with a little band that tells you I'm serious about going fast. It just comes to hand so incredibly naturally, so comfortably. It's such a well-refined vehicle. You can almost sense that heritage that Mercedes-Benz and AMG have come together to put into what is really a pinnacle of both AMG engine building and Mercedes chassis design. This is a wonderful car. Perhaps the biggest difference between these two vehicles, besides what's under the hood, are the wheels and tires. You've got 19s in the front and 20s on the back of the Mercedes and 20s all around on the Hellcat. Why are there 20s all around the Hellcat? Well, it's a lot cheaper to change 4 tires that are the same size. Now, the irony, of course, is that while the Mercedes has less power, it actually has wider wheels in the back. Now you would think that for, well, $20,000 more, the Mercedes would have a much nicer interior. And I disagree with that. I actually love the look of the inside of the Hellcat, especially because the infotainment system is just super easy to use. Mercedes, of course, has that double command way of controlling it with your finger and with the rotary dial. It's very confusing and not very intuitive. This, on the other hand, is a push-button screen, very simple to change radio stations, to change the HVAC controls, and it's a much bigger interior that fits a bigger guy like me like a glove. And yes, I do slide around in these seats, and this is a heavy car and you can feel all that weight. It doesn't like shifting momentum, but my God, when it's at full roar, it's a thing to behold. It's like riding a beautiful stallion at full gallop, and this car is always at full gallop, even when it's standing still. And that's what I mean by saying that it's always pissed off. It always looks fast, and it's always ready to play. And it's always ready to put a huge smile on your face. And you know, to do that at $21,000 under the cost of the Mercedes, that's saying a lot. And yeah, it doesn't directly compete against the Hellcat. It more competes against, of course, the M4. And ironically, both the Hellcat and this car at sea level have about the same 0 to 60 time of about 3.6 seconds. And that's because while that car has over 200 horsepower more, this car can actually use those 500 horsepower. And those twin turbos, almost instantaneous power. Just maybe a half a second of turbo lag. And these brakes, oh man, do they stop this car. Straight, powerful, direct, all the adjectives that you want in a car that is just designed to put a huge smile on your face on a beautiful Colorado fall day like this. I do love this car, and I do respect German muscle. I started this American versus German muscle review by asking a simple question: which one has more brawn and which one has more punch? Well, the answer to that is simple. Of course the Hellcat has more brawn, but the Mercedes has more punch because it has more usable power. At the end of the day, I love both of these cars, but with a $70,000 versus $90,000 starting price, I'd still go for the Hellcat because I can't help it. I love the sound, I love the horsepower, and I love the fact that it's always very pissed off. And by the way, guys, if you love TFL, we've got a brand new half-hour show on Amazon where we take our best videos and we've packaged them into half-hour episodes. So please go to Amazon, type in TFL Car, and review our videos. And don't forget, you can always go to tflcar.com for more news, views, and real-world reviews. And of course, click up here for another Mashup review and click down here to subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Ciao.